Mother, but the devil is alive. The devil is alive. Come the truth. The devil is alive. Come the proof.
Media coverage on African Americans for quite some time has always been reported in a biased fashion. In most cases, the essence of whatever is being covered about African Americans is never captured, unless, of course, it is something negative. One example is the most recent community meeting held at the Frederick Douglass Resource Center, where a group of organizers gathered community members by the dozens to discuss the double-headed social cancer known as individual and institutional racism. A press release was sent to every local major media outlet, and to the Minority Reporter and Time Warner's credit, they were the only two to show. But the disturbing thing about Time Warner is how they reported the event. They made it seem as if the entire meeting was about Rochester's Mayor Lovely Warren. Fortunately, we were prepared. We have the means to tell our story, and this is our truth.
Because we had enough wisdom to know the media was not going to report our story.
Community members expressed their concerns and seemed quite enthused to not just talk about the issues of individual and institutional racism, but also fight back. Here is what they had to say.
We have councilmen, legislators, doctors, great husbands and fathers. This is a story that we need to tell. We are accountable for telling that story. They won't tell it for us.
All right. That's okay. All right.
Today, young black men, when we leave out the story, when we go down the streets and we see these young men on the corners, tell them it's a lie. They lie to you. The devil's a liar. Get off this corner, go to school. We can make it happen. Right. Take a look at the young men that surround you. Take a look at the Jefferson Avenue barbershop. Go to a city councilman. Look at us. We here.
Our purpose and intent was to bring the community together to talk about what's been going on in terms of the unfair, unbalanced attacks against Mayor Warren, and our role and our responsibility in helping to address the deep-seated institutionalized racism, because that's what's at the bottom of all this. It's nothing new. In this particular case, the mayor is the target. But there's always some target in our community. In fact, we've dealt with this for generations.
Well, the imposition of racism is quite destructive. Even internally within ourselves, we can kind of digest some of that racism, and it starts to skew our own vision, our own movement, our own progress. When you are imposed upon by an outside community that thinks they know what's best for you, oftentimes it can take you away and distract you from what needs to happen and what needs to occur. We need to define for ourselves what's best for us, and racism is toxic. It's hateful, it's hurtful, and it's not anything that should be a part of the community dialogue.
Several people spoke on how the media selectively scrutinized community leaders of color. City Councilman Adam McFadden offered some historical key examples.
When I talk about what's happening to Lovely, I define it as death by 1,000 paper cuts. Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Soundbite.
To make an issue out of things that are very little, so that when something major happens, they can question her credibility. If I say something about a fact and leave out something, if I'm a white politician, they say I misspoke. If I'm a black politician, they say scandal or lie. Another example. Let's say that you want to get money from the city of Rochester. You're a female black-owned business. And you put your proposal up there, say, you know what? I don't think we can fund this because this is going to incur a loss. The white developer that they like, they say, well, we did a feasibility study, and in order to make this profitable, we have to put in investment. Saying the same thing, but using the words to skew the story.
As you can see, the devil is a lie. Major local media outlets abuse their power, for they do not tell the story in an objective manner. Instead, they spin their stories to support the status quo. This is unacceptable, and it will no longer be tolerated. What they fail to realize is that We have other vehicles to deliver the message. Get the word out. Disseminate the information. If you can't do your job properly, well, we'll be happy to do it for you. My name is Ptah, and this is Our Truth TV.
Lovely Warren saved my business. She saved my life. She saved my family. She saved the people that worked for me. I'm a contractor. I'm a woman-owned contractor. I provide jobs for people in the inner city, service disabled veterans, women, minorities.
Let's work internally with our youth. Give them somewhere to go where they can learn as to who they are.
Us coming together to want to have Black culture in our schools so our children can know who we are. I think it's similar to what this sister said. So our men can know who we are, so our community can know who we are, so we don't have to be on the corner and do things like that.
These are some of the things that we have to resurrect that worked. Wasn't nothing wrong with our programs. Fight, ABC, Beta Street, Swan, Perto, MCCO. Wasn't nothing wrong with our programs.
Do you know your neighbors' names? Know who your neighbors are. It takes a community. If you see someone else's child doing something they're not supposed to do, tell that parent, and you correct that child and say, you're not supposed to do that. They'll get used to it. They'll know, okay, I can't do that because Mr. Such and Such is going to tell my mother or. So we have to together. It takes a community. We have to together work together to make things work.
Right here, right now, we see each other face to face. Before we leave here, we should be exchanging phone numbers. We should have a conversation with each other because it's now, and we should start it right now. Not wait on anybody. Not saying that that'll take too long, but while we're here in the physical sense, right here, we should be exchanging phone numbers, have that conversation with each other, and then get to build.
The devil is alive. The devil is alive. Come alive. The devil is alive. Two kings on the big screen. Preach. Seen a 36 at 16. Honey.